Hi, it's David here, the CEO and founder of the Freedom Founders Mastermind community. I have a lot of calls with doctors and dentists and other business professionals who are understandably looking for an alternative way to maintain, preserve, and even build more wealth before looking at their retirement options. The big conundrum today, of course, is where do you put your money to have any faith in the certainty of sustainability of both the nest egg itself and the cash flow that nest egg should produce. If you've heard me talk before, I am not a fan of the accumulation model, the nest egg model, which Wall Street conventionally teaches. Put money in tax deferred vehicles like 401ks, save it up, save it up, save it up, get as much in there as you can, and then fingers crossed, hope for the best. Not a plan, and I bet there will be very few, if any, people in this generation that can actually retire off of some kind of a 401k. They're going to need other aspects of wealth production or working longer or downsizing lifestyle. And that's really not what anybody worked so hard to get to, was a scarcity mindset. I have calls with doctors and dentists all the time who are looking for that alternative path. I've discussed ways that I did it, how I know how to do it, how I've helped hundreds of other professionals with their freedom game plan. A call I had just recently, in fact, just this week, doctor, 66 years old, he and his wife had sold his practice about a year ago. He's out completely, and he's been watching his capital accounts, investment accounts, typically on the Wall Street stock market, mutual funds, maybe some bonds mixed in there. I don't know the mix, but he said since January of this year, he was at around $2 million in capital accounts, and he's down to about 1.5, a little bit over 1.5. So he's lost 23 some percent of his capital accounts in the first half of 2022. Now, that's very common for most people today because, again, when you invest in Wall Street, you pretty much buy the market. And when you buy the market, you're going to be suspect to the volatility. When you have a great bull run market like we've had in the last 10 years since the great financial recession of 2008, 9, and 10, it's wonderful and everything looks rosy. And your investment capital's up here. You retire out, sell your business, sell your practice, and then bingo, it turns. I've seen this happen time and time again over multiple recessions and corrections over many years. Just when you thought, or they thought, the road was clear, all of a sudden there's disruption, there's volatility. So this couple is reaching out to me. Always, I hear oftentimes, I've always wanted to invest in alternatives like real estate, or I tried it a couple times on my own, that didn't work out, or I haven't tried it and I don't want to make another mistake in anything, right? Of course not. We don't want to make mistakes. So what's the answer to that? The answer is you've got to find a plan, not a plan of the majority, which is traditional Wall Street. I promise you that plan is not going to work for the vast majority. It's a scarcity game because you have to live with scarcity. This couple was talking about that very fact. We like to live a little bit. We like not to have to count our pennies, and can we only go out to eat once a week? I mean, goodness sakes! I mean, what a way to finish out your life after you've put in all those years in the risk and liability of a business owner. I asked him. I said, "Well, what's your plan going to be? Have you talked to your financial advisor?" "Well, yes, but we really don't like that plan. They've been with the same financial advisor for 30 years, and I'm not denigrating that financial advisor. I'm just saying that those plans are very suspect, and I can't find any financial advisor who's told their clients exactly how much money they need to have and exactly how much cash flow on a repeatable, sustainable basis, conservatively, can that accumulated nest, wherever it's placed, can produce. They can't. I can't zero it in to a T, but I can, with conservative numbers, I can talk about cash flow, and that's what we do in Freedom Founders. We back into the numbers. I'll end the story here. That wasn't the key aspect of what they were looking for. Certainly, they want to look for more sustainability and protection of their wealth. Rule number one, don't lose principal. They've already lost 23%. Not a good thing. They don't want to lose more. All right, that's number one. They look at the, quote, cost of what they call cost of being a part of a group like Freedom Founders. I say, well, is it a cost? Is that really an expense, or is that an investment? Because if it's a cost to you, then we can always reduce costs in life. But if you want the best and you want speed and you want a curated group that actually provides real implementation to assets that have been underwritten at a high level, then you have to invest to have that. If you don't want to invest in that, then you can keep doing the plan you're on. It's just as simple as that. So those kind of questions. But here's what really helped. They also have a couple of adult children who they would like to also give them the mindset of how they can, protect and build their wealth outside of their own respective careers, wherever they might be. My story started in real estate when I was 22. Alongside my professional career, I did them both in tandem. Real estate is what set me free. Now, are there other ways to do it? Of course there are. But I know how to do real estate. I know how to do real estate really, really well. I've been there. I've been through the corrections, the market volatility, and I have curated the best of the best. We're not perfect, but we certainly can zero in a level of stability that the financial markets cannot. No question about it. Last point was, she said, what happens if something happens to Bill, her husband? It should be a common theme, right? You're in your 60s, and some days somebody's going to be gone. And if it's the person who's kind of had the financial reins all those years, well, where are you left, right? One of my dear classmates from dental school actually passed in this last year, and helping his widow, good friends of mine, and their young sons is something I'm proud of that our group can do, and help that widow weave through the finances and the assets that were left behind by their hard work together. But now she needs a roadmap on how to protect it and preserve it so that she can go on with her life and not live in that scarcity. So when I told that story to this couple I was having that discussion with, that synced it right there. That synced it. So when you're talking about ROI, return on investments, that's important. But what's the real ROI? What's that really mean to be a part of a group community that really looks out for its own at a very, very high level? If you don't have that in your world, if you don't have people that are really looking out for you, I'm telling you, you don't have much. You got to keep looking. It's your freedom. You got to stay focused on it. I'll see you next time.